Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena and welcome to another new releases video. So today I'm going to tell you what books are releasing in June. These are not every single book that is releasing because, I'm not interested in all of them, but these are the ones that I think that will attract you and me the most out of all of them. As always, we're going to go on chronological order. And by the way, there are some differences in the dates between the releases in the US and the UK. I usually only use the UK date, but yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. I always forget that I'm super blind when I try to record these videos because I need to read the screen and it's almost fucking impossible. I'm really sorry about the reflection because with this whole new light it's going to be awful, but let's try this, shall we? Let's get started with the 2nd of June. We have a little bit of everything this day. I'm not usually including thrillers in this list, but this month I found two that I'm really into. So we're going to start with one of those. This is Little Creeping Things by Chelsea Ichazo. I don't really know. So the cool thing about this book is that we have an unreliable narrator, and I love those. So basically, in Little Creeping Things, we follow Cassidy. She actually set fire to her neighbor's house. Of course, everyone thinks that she did it on purpose, and one of her friends actually disappears, and everyone thinks that she knew that, and everyone starts to think that perhaps Cassidy got rid of her. So we're going to follow her, trying to figure out what happened to the fire and Melody's disappearance. I don't know, it sounds kind of good. I really enjoy unreliable narrators, and I have a feeling that perhaps this is not just going to be like a drunk lady. Next one, we have My Calamity Jane by Cynthia Han and Brody Ashton and Jodie Meadows. I'm pretty sure that all of you have heard about this series. It's basically a series of retellings about famous Janes in literature. But yeah, this is a fairly well-loved series, so that's why I'm putting it here, because I haven't read any of the Lady Jane's retellings, because I'm not really into historical fiction, so. And save that I don't like historical fiction, I did include here The Court of Miracles by Casa Grande, which is apparently a mixture between Les Miserables and Six of Crows. Apparently, that's what it says here. And I don't know about you, but I don't really need anything else because that sounds fucking great. The next one that I have here is Category 5 by Anne Davila Cardinal. And this is a more of a horror YA novel that follows this tiny island that is basically being devastated by hurricanes, and there are really weird things going on. When they are starting to investigate, a supernatural threat appears. I don't know, it really sounded good. This is going to make me sound like an awful person, but I really like books with catastrophes. God, I'm such an awful person. Then I had no idea that this series existed, but this is a Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, and this is a West African inspired YA fantasy, and I love anything that is not European fantasies because I'm so tired of medieval fantasy. But I'm not really tired, but I like to explore other options. So this one sounds really great, and I really enjoyed The Rage of Dragons. We follow two different characters in this one. One of them is Malik, and her sister is kidnapped by this spirit, and he's trying to find her. And we also follow Karina, who's actually the princess of this kingdom, and her mother was just assassinated, so she's kind of left in this chaos, trying to gain control of the whole court. And I really like when royals are involved. I love court intrigue in books, so this sounds great. Then I have here A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. I'm just going to look at you like this because perhaps they're not going to reflect. I only included this here because it has mermaids. That's it. That's the only thing that I know. But it has mermaids, so I might try it. Then we also have here the Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. And the cool thing about this, and I think that is what is drawing my attention the most, is the fact that in this world, they have to sacrifice an innocent boy every year to this, how is it called? Candela's Witch Queen. They do this so the island won't sink. I mean, it sounds so good. I'm really excited for this one. I've been keeping an eye on it for a while. The next one is a pretty weird one, but I will try to summarize it as best as I can. So this is This Eternity of Mask and Shadows by Karsten Knight. This is basically a YA fantasy where gods walk amongst humans. Some of them hide, some of them don't, and one of them apparently murder our main protagonist's mother. So she's out of there for revenge, and she's going to need the help of Nanook, that is actually a polar bear god turned detective. What? I don't know, it sounds so weird. But I really wanted to mention it because, I mean, we have pretty different tastes, so perhaps you will enjoy it. So these were all the books for the 2nd of June. Now we're entering the 4th, and the first book that I have here is The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso. This is a LGTB plus high fantasy. So in this one, we are going to follow Rix. She is a mage, but she actually has his magic completely broken because now she can only draw life from everything that she touches. And furthermore, one day she activates this kind of how's it called, artifact that was sealed on her family's castle. She actually has to flee, and she's going to group with this whole kind of magical experts trying to investigate everything that is going on. I don't know, it sounds pretty interesting. I would say that this is a fairly interesting mix between sci-fi and fantasy, and I love those, like the 5th season. So yeah, this sounds really good. I really want to read this. Then I want to quickly mention The Curator by M.W. Craven. I won't say anything about this because it's the 3rd book on a series and I haven't read the first ones, but I really want to. So I don't really want to look at the summary just in case I spoil myself and you. But yeah, this is coming out on the 4th also. Then, on the 9th of June, I'm going to start with a weird one. I don't think that is my cup of tea, but it has a cult, so it might be my cup of tea. So I don't really know what to do. This is Agnes at the End of the World by Kelly McWilliams. And this seems more like a love story. But this is a dystopia YA novel where we follow Agnes. She's actually part of this cult with a madman that called himself the Prophet, and one day she meets this guy and she is not sure of what is a scene and what isn't now. So yeah, it sounds too much like a love story for me, but it has a cult, and I love cults. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but perhaps you like this one. Another quick mention, this is the Boundless by Anna Bright. This is book 2 on the Beholder series. This is the cover for the second one. This is the cover for the first one. You might actually recognize this one because that cover is stunning. But yeah, I don't want to spoil myself. I won't spoil you neither. So check out this one that is coming out on the 9th of June. On the UK, we are having the release of The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. This is book 3 in the Diabat. I can never say that name right. And this is a highly anticipated sequel to The City of Brass. And man, I have the US release for this one also, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is releasing on the UK this day. But if you haven't really heard about the City of Brass. It's kind of a historical fiction mixed with fantasy, mostly set in the desert, and it has genies, and it's just really good actually. I need to get into the second book. And if you're into it, I would highly recommend it because it has just like some elements of political intrigue that are really, really good. And I think that it's just such a good book worth reading. Then we are jumping on the 16th. Oh my god. This is The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. This is a YA fantasy, but I'm including this because it's a fight between heirs to the throne, and I love that. Like in Three Dark Crowns. I love this shit. If you know more books that has this trope, please tell me because I love them so much. We basically follow these three heirs fighting each other in what is called the Crossing, that is basically a death race across the desert. And the first one that finishes is crowned the queen. So, I don't know, it sounds so good. I really want to read this one. I'm going to mark it as one to read because I always forget to do that, and then I always miss the dates. So yeah. I have here a science fiction novel. This is Hela by David Gerald Fribia? No. In this one, we basically are set in this planet that has this colony that's trying to grow, and in this planet everything is oversized. And everything is extreme, and this also affects like the weather because they have to hide because sometimes the heat is too much or the cold is too much. But we also have apparently some political intrigue going on between the colony members. So this sounds right up on my alley. I'm for sure going to read this one because it's just like every single trope that I like condensed in one book. And it's science fiction, which I'm craving so much lately. Then a quick remark on this one. On the 16th, we also have a new series set on the Hollows by Kim Harrison. This is American Demon, and is set on the same world as her previous series, but it's just like complete, series of urban fantasy books. And the first one, I'm going to tell you a story about my relationship with these books. When I was a teenager, this book, you see it? Yeah, it looks like a trashy urban fantasy YA novel. Or that's what I thought. Because I read this one when I was just like 14 or 13 or something. But some years have passed, and now I'm watching booktube content, and I'm following this lovely lady right here, and she shows me this book. And I'm just like, I really want to read that because it sounds like an amazing urban fantasy for adults. Well, if you can actually read Spanish and English, you will realize that they have the same title. So yeah, almost 10 years later, I discovered that I have already read this series when I was a teenager. Then you have here a weird retelling. This is coming out on the 16th also, and this is the Circus Rose by Betsy Cornwell, and this is apparently a queer retelling of Snow White and Rose Red, in which teenage twins battle evil religious extremists to save their loved ones and their circus family. Is there anything else to say? No. Probably no. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of retellings, but perhaps you will like this one. We still have so many left. My goodness. We also have here The Order of Pure Moon Reflected in Water that is coming out on the 23rd of June by Sen Cho. This is an Asian-inspired novel that is centered around family and a school with martial arts. That's it. That's everything you need to know because Asian-inspired fantasies are fantastic. So yeah, I wanted to just say it here because I haven't heard much about it, but I'm really interested on it. This, I'm so interested on. This is The Angel of the Crows by Catherine Addison. This is set on London around the time of Jack the Ripper, but in this one, angels are part of the world. Vampires and werewolves walk among the streets with like a really cool truce, apparently. And this is like a fantasy utopia. But, of course, Jack the Ripper is stalking the streets. And some murders are happening. So, I don't know. This sounds so good. I'm going to mark it as to read right now so I don't forget. I can't wait to read this one. Then you have probably already heard about this book. This is Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee. This is I think, another Asian-inspired fantasy. We have several things going on in this book. First of all, we follow Shirsha. I hope that is how you say it because I have no idea. She is basically trained her whole life to become the next royal spy, and along the way, she basically kills her best friend, but somehow resurrects her. So that's weird. But also, she is summoned to the court of the Spider King, and for centuries, this guy has basically kept control of the dead forest, but now apparently it's growing out of control, and something weird's going on there. But yeah, this sounds so good. I really want to read this one. I think that from the whole kind of hype books in BookTube, this is my favorite one. Or at least the one that I'm most excited about. So we have another really weird book here, but I think that the premise is just super cool. This is Seasons of the Storm by El Cosimano. We follow Jack, and he is basically offer a deal. Or rather you die or you become this kind of immortal being. Well, he decides obviously to live, and he actually became... Let me read this because I don't remember this word. And he actually became Winter, an immortal physical embodiment of the season on Earth. And every year, he actually needs to hunt the season who comes before him. So, summer kills spring, autumn kills summer, winter kills autumn, and spring kills winter. But the twist to it is that actually Jack and Fleur, that are winter and spring, fall in love and they are trying to break the cycle. But I don't know, this sounds so cool. The whole season thing sounds really amazing. I'm not really sure about the love story, but the rest sounds delightful. Then we have another kind of alternative history type of book. This is A Decoration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Parry. And I want to read you part of the summary because it's so good. Basically, it says, "It is the age of enlightenment, of new and magical political movements, from the necromancer Robespierre calling for revolution in France to the weather mage Toussaint Louverture leading the slaves on Haiti in their fight for freedom, to the bold new Prime Minister William Pitt, weighing the legalization of magic amongst commoners in Britain and abolition throughout its colonies overseas." It sounds amazing. I found about this book just yesterday or something, and I was just like, there you go. I want this book. I don't know why, but I don't, as I told you a little bit ago, I don't really love historical fiction, but these alternate history books I really enjoy. They have some mystery, fantasy of magic to it. Then I have here another thriller that sounds really interesting. This is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. We follow two women and they meet at this bar and they decide to basically swap their tickets. And so Claire ends up taking Eva's flight to Auckland and Eva goes to Puerto Rico. Well, things get messy when actually the Puerto Rico flight goes down and poof, explodes. So it basically kills Eva, and when Claire realizes that everyone thinks that she is dead because she was supposed to be in that flight, she decides to start over again and basically she starts impersonating Eva. But of course, Eva has some dirty secrets there. And I just love when you have mysteries revolving around discovering secrets. I love it, so yeah. Then On the 30th of June, we have the US release of The Emperor of Gold, as I told you before, and we also have one of our most anticipated releases, that is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I won't tell you much because it's a mystery novel, and I really think that you should go into mystery novels knowing the least possible. So we basically follow Noemi, and she receives this letter from his cousin asking for help, and she goes to this house that is actually called High Place, and it's in the Mexican countryside, and of course some weird things are going to happen, and it's set in the 50s, so it's going to be amazing. It has so many good reviews already because there were so many arts going around, but yeah, I'm so excited for this one. We also have another thriller. I realized that there are so many thrillers in this one actually. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is another Riley Sager book. They're super, super well known. And this is about a haunted house, which you already know that I really love. So yeah, we'll probably give it a try. I don't have the best relationship with Riley Sager, but I enjoyed her last book until the end. I wasn't really sold on the ending, but yeah, I will definitely check this one out. And at last we have Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. This is a science fiction YA novel. We follow this girl called Andra. She was put in cryosleep, and when she wakes up, she discovers that she's basically being adored by this civilization as their goddess. And she actually discovers that she's been on stasis for hundreds of years, and she's trying to figure out what the hell happened on Earth and why she was left there. But yeah, this one sounds pretty interesting. I don't know. I need more science fiction. That's probably why I really want it. But it has pretty good reviews. This one, it has like a 4.33, which is really nice from the people who read the art. I might try and find some art of this on NetGalley or something. But yeah, this sounds really good. So yeah, that's it. Those were all the releases for next month. I mean, there are so many of them. My throat hurts so bad and I'm so sleepy right now with all the heat. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!